Alright, so when I get someplace and I'm blindsided by screamers and it shuts me down, I'm not allowed to say anything because those people will be embarrassed. And then I'm the bad guy if I do say something. But the thing is, I have to say something. See, that's the thing. If I'm in an environment that shuts me down, I have to say something. I have to let you know what it's like, where you're surrounded by screamers, and then I get yelled at for screaming back at them eventually. Or I get yelled at for speaking up for myself, for saying, hey, this isn't right. And then, as far as my videos go, I mean, that's basically my ability to vent what's going on. And what's going on is pretty messed up. But it's also important because it documents it. And although my words don't come together properly all the time, the evidence does. The timeline shows that I've been telling the truth. And just because my words don't connect properly doesn't mean that I'm trying to lie. I'm overwhelmed. And that's why I keep trying to post the evidence, the actual evidence. The coping skills that I use, they're coping skills, alright? They make me so I can barely function. And speaking on video is one of those things that helps me. Just because I know it's documented. It's on video. No matter how many people try to take it down, at least it's documented. The problem is getting the courts to look at that. Without a safe environment and a caseworker to help, I'm screwed. That's the big thing that prompted me to move from Chapel, Nebraska down to Ken and Leah's is that when I was in Nebraska, I really didn't have any positive people around to hang out with at all. And because of my disabilities, there's a lot of things that I'm unable to do. There's a lot of life skills that I would have been able to learn if I wasn't under complete and total rush all the time. You gotta get this, you gotta get that. Constantly trying to get what's required to get unhomeless. Trying to have all of the things that most of the kids I went to high school with had right out of high school. A lot of the kids in my graduating class got grants and thousands of dollars. Most of them did. For graduating. I got a pack of M&Ms. There's a lot of kids in America who got it worse than me. They're in the system. They have no voice. When they turn 18, they're going to get thrown out with the clothes on their back, and that's it. Same as I was. Same as many were. Where a lot of these people have help, and they don't realize how much help they get every month just by having that person there. And they call it working together. I needed someone to work together with me. Working together means mutual benefit. It doesn't mean that you take all my resources and then throw me away. That's taking advantage of a disabled person, and that's fucked up. The things that Tabby did, the things that Graham did, the things that most of these people did is take all my resources, and once my resources were gone, throw me away. Or take me in believing I had resources that I didn't have, and when they realized I didn't have those, throw me away. Meanwhile, because of the environment, because of not being able to speak most of the time, During the day, there's always a reason I can't use the phone to make the phone calls I need to. This is just eating up my time. And then the screaming. I can't make videos because they're screaming. I can't make phone calls because they're screaming. So I have to just sit there and do nothing. And then they get pissed off at me because there's nothing that I can do because they won't stop screaming. I don't have the money to do the things that they're asking me to do. I don't have the resources to do the things they're asking me to do. So I have to depend on others to do those things for me. I have to depend on the kindness of others to take me to doctor's appointments because I can't afford them. I can't afford even the gas to go to them. And this has been happening repeatedly. Sean, you need to go here, and Sean, you need to go there. No, stop. I need my resources in order to take care of myself. Stop having me go to 400 different places. I can't afford this. And then I'm stuck in environments with alcoholic screamers and meth head screamers. And I needed the police. I didn't need doctors. I mean, I do need doctors, but I need the resources to actually go through and do the things that I need to do for my better mental health and for my physical well-being. And without a place first, I can't do those things. I needed help, and people don't understand that. They want to treat me like shit because I can't take care of myself, because I can't do the things that they want me to do without a calm environment and the resources to do those things. A lot of the things that I asked others to do, it's not that I can't do those things myself, it's that I can't do those things myself. I need a calm environment where I can sit down and work on what I need to. I need my income back so that I can actually defend myself, not have to depend on the money and finances of others and then get treated like shit because I took their finances. Well, you offered, and then you treated me like shit. I needed your words. All of these people who saw this bullying going on for months and months and months before I had to do desperate things to defend myself, to try to force a day in court. And no matter what, they weren't going to allow it to me without support, actual support in person. But that requires somebody to actually take an active role and take a look at what's going on. And with me being forced to move from one place to another, to another, to another, having to use long distance communication, using texting to try to send information, and trying to use email to send information. So I got to try to find a place to plug in. Meanwhile, I don't have the money for gas. Where am I going to go plug in? If I'm in a really poor area, then my money ends up getting spent and I still don't have a plug-in. Many of the McDonald's in poor areas, they don't have plug-ins that you can go in and plug in when you eat your meal. So that leaves places like Starbucks. But the problem is Starbucks is only a temporary placement. I mean, that's a place where I'm going to try to gather the resources I need to try to explain to people how much help I actually need. I mean, people keep telling me about all these government thises and thatses and the others, and because of the things that were done to me by the police, these places aren't allowed to get involved in most cases. That's the thing about abusing the disabled and homeless, is that they do this in the courts. This is how they make their living, is by hiding poverty from you and blaming everything on the impoverished, not allowing them an honest day in court, giving them public pretenders who don't do anything, or don't do anything useful. The things that Pamela Cardi did, yeah, those things were helpful to the prosecution. They were helpful to prevent the evidence of what these officers did, what these people did in multiple jurisdictions, including in the Arapahoe County Jail. And because it's the police word against yours, they automatically win. Meanwhile, there's a lot of inmates. Every inmate in every cell block that I was in will remember me, guaranteed. They'll remember me trying to get somebody to investigate. I needed the abuse to stop, for going for help, for trying to get help. I was abused because I have a penis, and because of slander that I was never allowed to defend myself against. People want to get angry because I get frustrated and I scream back. Meanwhile, how is it okay for you but not okay for me? How is it okay for you to get pissed off because I pointed out that you screamed the whole time I was there? Meanwhile, I'm judged harshly by Dan Favorite because I screamed at you once. I listen to these people tell me about all their problems. I'm overwhelmed. I need help with my own shit before I can worry about anybody else's stuff. But because they're telling me about their stuff, I'm worrying about them and their stuff. Meanwhile, these are people who say that they'll help me, so I try to tell them what's going on, that I don't have the technical abilities to do what it is that they're asking. I don't have the financial ability to use that technology because I have to use it to survive. And all of my money for surviving was taken away. My housing was taken away. These are things that I needed help with. When Tamara worked for Region 1, she was helpful. She knew what was going on. She understood autism. She didn't punish me for it like Jen Beebe. She listened, actually listened, and pretended that I was a human being. I need that woman's help. People didn't want to understand that I'm overwhelmed. With Sally Treon, when I say the place is too loud, it's too loud. And going to that too loud of an environment after explaining repeatedly that if it's too loud, I can't handle it, that was the wrong place for me to go. All of these places were the wrong place for me to go. I needed housing, and I needed a caseworker. I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you stuff from Shauna Sinclair and a bunch of other people that was right around the time that Natalie disappeared. Hopefully. I mean, it's all I can do. I sit down and start typing a little bit, and there's too much of it, and I have a panic attack, and I have to step away from it, because without the right environment, and without somebody to look, I just get punished, no matter what. People don't like it when I treat them the way that I've been treated. Well, I can understand that. I didn't like it. I wouldn't expect them to like it. So I do it, because they're not getting the point of how it feels, and that if they can't just let it go, then why should I? How am I supposed to be able to when I'm still living the consequences? Nobody should have to break the law to defend themselves. I should have been able to go to the police for help. The criminal element has helped me more than the police have. And you know what? The criminal element have stolen less from me than the police have. They've listened to me more than the police have. They've looked at more evidence than the police have. Why is that? Because either the police are intentionally looking away, or well, that's the point. Is that without somebody to say, hey, that's fucked up, this dude's disabled, somebody needs to take his fucking report, and he needs to be kept safe to do so. I needed help, but after Natalie died, everybody made excuses why they couldn't. And I do mean excuses. A lot of people had issues that would not have prevented anybody from doing it what it is that they had said that they would. Having those issues wouldn't prevent... Oh my God. And see, now I'm generalizing, but it's because there's hundreds of situations. where right at the last minute they had something better going on. Well, then don't make the promises. Don't tell me you're going to for months and months. I mean, I'm being put through hell for months and months while people are making excuses. And meanwhile, the longer that it takes, the more hell I'm going through. And they keep making excuses. And because they're not there to see it, and because they're not listening to what happened, or bothering to find out what's been happening, they think I should just be fine and dandy. I'm not. I need a safe environment. That means my own place. That means my disability money back, and that means not being fucking witch hunted for the rest of my life. And I am witch hunted. And I need to be able to prove that, but the police have that evidence. They won't look at any of the evidence of the things that happened to me or the things that happened to others because of what happened to me. But they'll look at the fact that I defended myself. And they'll accuse me of doing it out of nowhere for no reason. That is not the case. Most of my friends are too fucked up and self-absorbed to be able to help. I mean, if you're constantly smoking meth and trying to find meth and trying to sell meth, and your entire life is basically just meth, and I need your help, you know, being blindsided by the fact that you're on meth really scares the hell out of me, and then I can't function. So I try to make a video if I can function well enough to do that, and sometimes I'm just balled up in a corner and I'm trying to show the world what it's like, because you don't have a safe environment. Just like when I was a kid, you're at the foster home and you can't tell on the foster kids there because, well, then everybody gets in trouble. And you can't tell on the foster parents because they're the ones in charge. You can't go to the police because the foster parents are automatically right. And I didn't have parents there to say, hey man, this isn't right. It's because they were in the system too. Mom and Dad, I was in the system because of you, not because of decisions that I made. I didn't choose for you to sell an AR-15, Dad. I didn't choose for you to sell cocaine, Dad. I didn't choose for you to be a cocaine addict, Mother. These aren't things that I chose. And people say, hey Sean, you know, why would you want any of these people to help after what you said? Well, that's the point. I don't. I don't expect them to help. I never did. I hoped. And when they bashed that hope away, that's when I spoke. See, unlike most of these folks who only remember what they want to, when they're wanting to help, they remember the happy times. But when they're angry, they only remember the bad times. They only remember things that other people supposedly did. And I say supposedly because these people weren't there for it. The stuff that Lana used when she decided to throw me away were all situations that she wasn't there for. There were also situations where I had already admitted to those things on Facebook. If she'd have paid attention, she'd have known that you can't blackmail somebody with something they already admitted. That's just stupid. You could have told the truth. Now, Lana and Amanda's, it wasn't that bad compared to most of the environments I was in. I just had some major issues up there with them not understanding autism. The video game thing, that helps me to recenter, to separate myself from the hell that I'm living, to calm down and then get back to what it is that I was doing. The pacing is because I'm afraid to speak. I've been snapped at too many times, and then you tell me your opinions that you formed without looking at any of the evidence. See, there's the part that was allowed to be shown, and then there's the part that actually was. I needed help. Instead, I got told to do things that I can't do for myself. I don't have the means. And because I'm not able to do the things that you want because I don't have the means, it means I wasn't trying? No, I still tried. I tried and wasted my resources in the hopes that trying to do what it is that you wanted would show you that I was trying to get help, and you would help me how I asked, like you said you would. And that's pretty fucked up.